What's going on, guys? So another day in the simulator. This is not real money quite yet. Remember, I took that little break. I'm just trying to kind of increase my confidence, get my confidence going until Monday is when I'm going to start live trading again. I was initially going to take this whole week off, but I started feeling a lot better, and I wanted to just kind of jump back and watch the market at least, and then I decided, okay, I'll just trade in the simulator. So I'm not trying to fool anyone again. This is not real money just for today and yesterday. But I treat it almost exactly the same as if it was. So I did take 3,000 shares today on AWX, and that is more than I would normally take. I would take maybe 1,000 shares or something, or 1,500 shares, sometimes 2,000. But I'm definitely not going to be taking that much quite yet. But I mean, I finished up 620 on the name. So if I had only used 1,000 shares, maybe I would have only been up like 300 or something or whatever. So I think it was still a really good day. I had some good trades, and I even started the day off with some crappy shorts. Now, I was just trying to short. Again, I'm not sure if I was not in the sim, I would not be using 1,000 shares to short. So that's where it gets kind of tricky with using the sim, is when you don't treat it real, you know what I mean? So, because I remember telling you guys after that one short that I took of 1,000 shares, I'm not going to do it again with more than maybe 200 shares, just to try and get a feel for shorting. So I took 1,000 right away, and then I got stopped out a couple times. I took a tiny loss. So I guess the point is that I took a 5-cent loss on 1,000 shares. Now, I wouldn't have taken 1,000 shares, but if I did take 1,000, I stopped out where I should have for a $50 loss, which is very small. So I try reshorting it again, and this is where I'm just kind of testing it out. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I say that I wouldn't do this live, even though I'm treating this. I just said that I was treating this like real life. I wouldn't be shorting in this area for no reason with such big size if it was live. So I don't know. I was testing it out, and I kept the loss small again, another just $50 loss. So where I saw it here was after we started seeing a lot of... Okay, so pre-market, we started seeing a lot of people step up on the bid. You can't see them here, but for example, here's an example of at 477, there's 2,000 shares. At 475, at 470. Now, yesterday, these were being sold into on KBSF, and then it dropped at the open. But these ones weren't being sold into. They were kind of holding those levels. There was no giant kill candle. And there was such... Okay, so here's the key, too. There were such readily available short shares indicated by this... see how this is a bright green? And then if I change it over here... Oh, no, this is bright green. And this is... does that count as bright green? Yeah, so see it turned off there? That light is there, and now that light is not there. So pre-market, there was plenty of shares available to short for retail. So I felt like everyone that was trying to do what I was doing, thinking that it would fall, kind of like it did with KBSF, would easily get trapped by people that are pushing this stock up. And maybe that is what these people are, these people that are popping on the bids. I don't know. So again, you know, so this guy got sold into at 472. And then boom, 10,000 shares pop up. And I say, okay, someone is really trying to keep this up, and all those shorts are now underwater, and they're going to have to cover at some point. So that's going to make them nervous. Maybe they'll start covering now. So I believe I added... the first reason I took 2,000 shares right here at this level, 469, was this was kind of the pivot level right here, pre-market. And that, combined with what I just said about the shorts and this light, kind of was reinforcing my plan now that maybe I should have a long bias instead of a short bias. Now, today I thought it would just be a test out of shorts, but once this kind of happened at 9:25, I started thinking, okay, there's a long opportunity in here, and maybe I'll actually start taking the trades as if this was live. Now, again, my account is still funded, I still have money in it, but I'm trading with the sim, and I get live data and live orders, live everything, because I still have the money in my live account. So Again, I'll be back to that on Monday, but that's not the point. The point is that this started moving up, and that's why I took 2,000 shares right there. Now, normally for a starter position, I wouldn't take 2,000. I would take maybe 500. So that's where the difference is in what I would have done with the live account. I think I only have like 6,000 or something in that account. I always keep it between around maybe 4 or 5 and like 10. So I couldn't even take 3,000 shares. I don't have 15 grand in that account. So I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but I still would have had a good trade. So anyways, what I did here was when I saw that guy, so now we're seeing a bid stack, and now we're starting to get bids above 473, 470. And we're starting to creep a little bit higher. Now, I thought we were going to break through, so I reduced my risk. I sold out almost half of the shares because I thought we were going to plummet like KBSF, and I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen yet. And this does look like it's going to roll over, right? Like we made it back up to pre-market, and then we're kind of rolling over. But this 470, I was waiting for it to hold. That's still the critical level. So what I did was I added back at a stupid time. But again, see here, I see it getting bought up. It's getting bought up and bought up and bought up. So I'm waiting for the open. I'm waiting for the open. And for the break of this candle, I bring us up to 3,000 shares. And so here's where it gets kind of iffy. So this is what happens at the open. Let me go to the open. At the open, we get as low as 455 or something. And I have a pretty decently sized unrealized. But keep in mind that on 3,000 shares, that's only about 10 cents, right? At 462, that's 10 cents. So I'm not sure if this is that good of a trade, but I had a plan, and I stuck to the plan. So I guess my stop would have been, of course, at the low of this resistance level here, maybe 440 or 450. But by that point, I would have lost 20 cents. But if I had only taken, you see what I mean? How I shouldn't have taken 3,000 shares in a sim, because 20 cents on 3,000 shares is $600. But the profit potential was closer to high of day and maybe $5. So I was looking to make around 30 cents, which is closer to like $600 or $900, maybe closer to $900. So that's actually exactly what ended up happening. So I had a greater than 1-to-1 risk to reward, but it was kind of sloppy in the sense that I maybe got in a little prematurely and then didn't stop out just to get back in again. I think that's what I should have done differently, even though it ended up working out. You can see here I was waiting for the surge through high of day at 487. So it's catching a little resistance here, but I still like the way it looks. It didn't sell off hard quite yet. This is holding. 470s are holding. Now I'm waiting for the push through 480. 487, boom. Through high of day, I took off 2,000 shares. I got filled at 490. I don't know if you can see it down there. Yeah, 491. So that was good. I took another 500 off at 495. And then I try and take another 500 off here, and I get filled at 499. So I went from down 200, you can see here the realized, to up 415. So I really made about $600 on that trade, and I was risking, depending on how you look at it, maybe 400 or 500 or 600. So again, that's why that entry was a little sloppy, but it was good. So the reason I was selling there was we had pushed through high of day, and we were coming up towards a big resistance level of $5. And I was up 30 cents already. So I took off most of my shares there. And then I saw we weren't really pushing through $5, so I just took the rest off there. And maybe I should have held on, because we actually ended up continuing to go through. And for whatever reason, I didn't rebuy my position. I think it's because I knew that I had taken too many shares, and I wanted to just kind of take a step back. So you can see here, 494 on the ask. If you look, we're about to push through $5 right now. So maybe I would have bought now and sold now. And I am known for doing that. I do scalp these mini moves, so to speak. So maybe I could have added another $100 there of profit. But I just didn't take it for whatever reason. So the next trade I took was a dip on this candle here. As it dipped down here, I bought in. I got filled at 5.15. I was risking about 5.10 or so, but I had a feeling this would work out almost instantly. So 5.15, we're holding here. We're holding the $5 level really well. So with 500 shares, so this is the normal position that I would take, is 500 shares. So if I was risking 10 cents, it's only $50. So that's a really good risk, or that is good risk management right there. So I was waiting for a move to go higher through high of day, and I think, yeah, I took 400 off right there. I don't know if these trades are that important. I'll show you another one. This was there was no real pullback after that. I mean, I took this setup right here as we pushed through 547. You can see 548. Boom, I bought in. I got filled at 550 for the break of 550, and then I put my shares up like immediately, just immediately after, and that was with 1,000 shares. I put them up at 58, and I get filled, so I add, you know, $80 of profit right there. And if I had just held on, maybe I could have gotten filled in the 50s. But now is when I'm kind of starting to take a step back. I know that this is getting a little heavy. We made it almost all the way up to the the daily resistance here at 583. So I was taking a step back. I think I took another trade in here for just a very quick scalp over 537 for 10 cents on 500 shares, or just 300 shares. I was just having a little feeler position. So this is more like what I would do in my live account. I wouldn't be taking 3,000 shares. So again, the win wouldn't have been as big initially, but it still would have been a winner, and I wanted to show you guys the reasoning behind it, because the amount of shares that I took really has no bearing on the idea behind the trade. So I saw us kind of coming up. We were curling. We started to curl through here. And I knew there's still a lot of shorts that were underwater. We were holding the moving averages, so I bought in again at 534, risking maybe 5 or so cents. So I saw some weakness, so I got out. And I said to myself, okay, maybe I'm just a little early. I'll wait for the actual signal, which is over 540. So I was going to wait for it to push through 540. I see a lot of people here on the bid, and not a whole lot of people on the ask. So we're starting to come through 540 right now. Where is it there? 540. I buy in just as he's getting bought up, and boom, we're already at 548. I take off 500 shares because I don't know if this is going to keep going. We saw yesterday, I think it was KBSF, it went straight up and then straight down. So I didn't think we would have a bounce. So I took 500 off there, and I took the other 500 off. And it turns out that this continued going all the way like a madman through high of day. So I definitely should have held on to some of those shares. I think it was kind of a rookie mistake not to have my stop down back at break even, because that way I would have not missed out on this move. So it just keeps going. We just literally shot up to 625 from 525. Like, that's insane. So the point is that the momentum is back. I think that's good. And it's always a good idea to kind of get your own ideas rather than following someone else really, really closely. Like that idea with how many shares were available to short. So where was it? It's just hilarious how all of a sudden now there's no shares shortable. Or where does the light come back on? Where is it? Do I see it here? I don't know. I don't know what I was getting at. Anyways, the point was that I was looking to see how many shares were shortable. I was taking into account the market conditions and what happened yesterday on KBSF. So it's good to formulate a plan before you take the trades. Now, before I took all of these trades, my bias was short. And then I started seeing things that kind of changed my mind and showed me that this was actually a long bias trade. So that's why I didn't short it after that, and I switched to kind of a long biased, and I took that all the way up. And then there was no shares available to short in the afternoon. Of course, when the actual shorting opportunity was there, they don't have any shorts available for retail. So just something to keep in mind. Hopefully that was useful, and thank you guys for watching. So we're finishing up today pretty good, but again, it's just the simulator, but this is to get my confidence back for Monday. So I'll be back live trading on Monday. I think I'm going to be using smaller size, but I'm going to go over all of this, I think maybe Sunday or something, when I come up with a full plan on what I'm going to do. So I think it's right here. I have a bunch of rules and stuff. I'm still working on this, and I'm going to... Wow, that is a very long page. I'm going to show everybody what my rules are closer to Monday, and then Monday I'm going to follow the rules. Like I'm going to have a max size, I'm going to have a max loss, I'm going to have a only take starter positions of 500, just all that stuff. So hopefully that was useful to you guys, and we will see you on Monday.